My name is Maggie-Rose, Condit-Summerson. I'm a PhD candidate in art education and women's gender and sexuality studies at Penn State. Thanks so much for being here, everyone. And it's so cool to be part of this event where there's people participating from, all over the world and all these different places. It's so exciting to me. So thank you for all being here. We're going to be looking for, this presentation, feminist glitch art practices in an effort to broaden Wikipedia's current resources on glitch art. And this is an area that I'm really just beginning to scratch the surface on. There's, a lot to explore here. So if anybody else has more resources that you could share with me, I would love to know kind of your knowledge on these topics too. And so this is going to be really informed by the work of writer and curator Legacy Russell. So Legacy Russell is the former associate curator of exhibitions at the Studio Museum in Harlem. And she's currently the executive director and chief curator at The Kitchen in New York, which is an amazing art space. And Russell's been developing her conceptualization of what she calls glitch feminism since around 2012, but officially released her manifesto on this subject in 2020, which is this book cover featured on the right. That's her book. And this book explores the works of several contemporary artists who deploy glitch as a critical tool. So for Russell, glitch is about much more than this seductive aesthetic of colorful, jagged, rearranged pixels. Rather, it's a symbolic and literal gesture of intervention, disruption, or refusal. And so she's drawing upon Black feminist and queer and trans studies explorations of areas like failure and refusal as oppositional strategies to help describe and frame what glitch can do in the world. So she's really problematizing this boundary between life online versus life away from keyboard, or what she calls AFK. And she's critiquing the expansion of neoliberal techno-capitalism that's happening in digital culture. We're seeing increasing phenomena like algorithmic surveillance, digital colonialism. But she's also arguing that the internet and internet culture holds radical potentials for resistance. And she really reflects on her own experiences as an adolescent Black queer femme, where things on the internet like avatars allowed her to experiment with various kinds of fluid identities and help shield her from these pressures of hypervisibility. So these moments of disruption she conceptualizes as glitch, which is this queer liminal space for imagining kind of new worlds and refusing assimilation, particularly to very hierarchical binary thinking surrounding embodiment. So she argues that glitch is this particularly useful form of resistance for communities who've historically faced marginalization. So she's really looking at cultural producers from trans and queer of color communities, women of color, and she's also looking at glitches like anti-colonial, exploring cultural producers from outside the US and Europe. So for Russell, glitch resists static definition, but some ways that we might think about glitch that I find really fascinating are glitch as what she calls sociocultural malware, implying that it can be circulated, glitch can be shared as this form of cultural remixing. Glitch can also be a survival method, a refusal to perform, quote, correctly, as a form of what she calls strategic illegibility. So to glitch the body could mean refusing to aspire to be recognizable according to rigid hierarchical kind of taxonomies surrounding gender, race, sexuality, etc. So glitch is pedagogical and can function as a method for generating feminist coalition across physical as well as psychic borders. But despite this sort of radical thinking around glitch, much of the mainstream or public discourse surrounding glitch art, which is often discussed in relationship to post-internet or post-digital art, is fairly depoliticized, primarily focusing on glitch as like a formal aesthetic. and the technological data manipulation processes like data moshing or hex editing, they're often used to produce Glitch's visual effects. And this is apparent on the Wikipedia page for glitch art. It's really focused on these technological processes. And also, much like kind of mainstream discussions of post-internet or post-digital art, a lot of the discourse on glitch tends to center on commercially successful, cisgender, heterosexual, white male artists working in the US and Europe. And the positioning of these subjectivities as like the arbiters of digital culture. So Russell's really working against that. So I propose that we expand Wikipedia's current resources on glitch art to include artists who are using glitch in these more overtly critical ways that Russell describes. So cultural producers who are thinking about glitch as a feminist practice, glitch as overtly politicized, as anti-normative, anti-racist, anti-colonial, and transnational. So one way we can do this is to include Russell's book, Glitch Feminism, to the further reading section at the bottom of the glitch art page. And Legacy Russell actually has a Wikipedia page already, which I linked in the chat. And I also propose that we can add to this list of feminist artists, we can add feminist artists to this list of glitch artists on this Wikipedia page, which this list of glitch artists is rather short. So I have a couple of people that I think would be interesting to add. This is an artist named Sandra Perry, who also already has a Wikipedia page, so we can link that page. This is a piece called Typhoon Coming On that was installed at the Serpentine Gallery. So this is referencing a painting of a similar title, a very well-known painting by the artist J.M.W. Turner, which was depicting, it's also sometimes called Slave Ship. It was depicting a massacre of enslaved Africans that occurred in the Middle Passage. And so she allowed viewers to become immersed in this painting through projection. And this painting was animated through an open source 3D modeling software called Blender. And she applied to the painting a tool called Ocean Modifier to make the viewer feel as though they're immersed in this oceanscape in Turner's palette. And as you're moving through the space, the projection glitches and everything turns this violet hue, which is that color signifies to the maker in Blender that an error has occurred, that there's missing data or missing information. And so this is meant to signify to the viewer that, you know, there's missing information in this narrative of the Middle Passage as presented by Turner. So I think that's a very interesting way to have this embodied experience of glitch as a viewer. This is another artist, Tabitha Rezer, who creates these internet-based and video works which really challenge the West as the epistemic center of digital culture. And she asks if the internet can still be a place for dissent. And so her work is really in line with Afrofuturism. And so this is a piece called Sorry for Real, where it's this floating render of an iPhone where there's a voiceover that's offering a very insincere apology from the white Western world for all of the atrocities of continuing racialized violence. And then a third artist who's, again, also an artist who's already, who has a page on Wikipedia. This is an artist called American Artists. It's their pseudonym. And this is a piece called Looted that was featured on the Whitney Museum's website. So all of the images of the Whitney's collection that were available online were replaced with images of plywood. And this piece is in an effort to protest institutionalized anti-Blackness and colonial practices within the museum. So the artwork literally and symbolically boards up the museum and the website in an act of redaction and refusal. So this is a form of glitching the online archival space. And we can also look to cyber-feminist artworks to help build this list of feminist artists who are deploying glitch as a methodology. Historically speaking, feminist approaches to glitch artworks are connected to cyber-feminist art practices. Russell even describes glitch and cyber-feminism as philosophical partners. So this is an online resource called Cyber-Feminism Index, which is compiled by a scholar named Mindy Sue, and this is hosted online by the New Museum. And this is a living archive that people can contribute to document cyber-feminist projects. And so on this site, there's actually a curated collection by Legacy Russell called A Glitched Art History, where we can explore cyber-feminist works that incorporate these strategies of glitch. And so that's all I have to share. I'll stop sharing my screen.